Random House Audio presents Empress of the Night, a novel of Catherine the Great, by Eva Stachniak, read for you by Beata Poźniak. She exercised a constant self-control over herself, and herein appeared the greatness of her character, for nothing is more difficult. Jacques Casanova de Sengon on Catherine the Great. And you shall fall, in no way different, as withered leaves shall fall from trees, and you shall die, in no way different, as your most humble slave shall die. Gavrila Derzhavin, quoted in The Romanovs. She is dressed in a robe of silver brocade. A golden mantle trimmed with ermine and silver tassels covers her feet. Her eyes are closed, cheeks rouged, lips slightly parted. In the grand gallery of the Winter Palace, illuminated by rows of thick wax candles, the imperial coffin rests on a raised platform beneath a canopy draped in black velvet. Imperial courtiers stifle their sobs. Grief-stricken subjects line up to kiss the late sovereign's hand. Imperial guards stand at attention. The choir intones Memory Eternal. The priests, in their black vestments embroidered with silver, chant the prayers for the dead. The air is choked with clouds of sweet incense. Crowds have gathered in front of the Winter Palace, along the embankment, on the streets and bridges. This is the time of lamentation, when the soul of the newly departed still lingers, awaiting forgiveness for sins, gathering strength for the passage to the next world. Ancient Russian customs call for special foods, and the street vendors oblige with pancakes, fish pies, and kishel made of oatmeal. To fortify the spirit, shots of vodka are sold by the glass. But something rings louder than sobs and requiem chants. Russia's beloved Tsarina, Catherine, Empress of all the Russias, is lying in state, and yet no courtiers, ministers, or high priests make laudatory speeches, praise the long prosperous years and glorious conquests of her extraordinary reign. The poets, too, are silent. No odes, no ballads, no dirges sing the despair of Catherine's orphaned subjects. At the Nevsky Monastery, with the whole imperial family gathered around him, His Imperial Majesty, Tsar Paul I, the rightful heir to the Romanov blood, orders the monks to fetch his father's coffin from its anonymous grave. 2 Russian sovereigns will make their last earthly journey together. All debts must be paid, old sins punished. 34 glorious years of Catherine's reign have been erased with a wave of her son's hand. How can the mind grasp that such a time has come? Part 1, November 5th, 1796. 9 a.m. The pain is sharp, piercing, a burning dagger's thrust inside her skull, somewhere behind the right eye. It hits just as she lifts her quill out of an inkwell. Her hand freezes. The quill dropped stains the letter she was just about to sign. The mantel clock begins to chime. She recalls being frightened as a child to see the hands of a clock turned back, believing time itself might go back, and she would be forced to live again through everything she had already lived through, depriving her of the adventure of the future. The pain doesn't stop or diminish. It is already 9 o'clock, and she is still behind with the reading she must finish before her secretary arrives. She considers calling Zotov, her valet, but dismisses the thought quickly. The headache will go away by itself, but once her old servant begins to fuss, she won't be able to send him away. Pani, her Italian greyhound, sniffs her mistress's hand with fierce concentration, licking the skin of her palm. The dog is slender and fine-boned, a direct descendant of beloved Zemira, who lies buried in the Tsarskoye Selo gardens. "I've nothing for you there," she mutters. She tries to pat Pani's head, but her right hand is strangely wooden, stiff and unwieldy. So she settles for an awkward caress, noting thick drops of pus in the corners of her dog's eyes. Just like Zemira, Pani is prone to lingering infections. Outside her study, pattering feet and muted voices dissolve into furtive silence. The Empress is working. The Empress must not be disturbed. She stands. With her left hand, she grips the edge of her desk, clumsily sending the papers flying. How intriguing, she thinks, watching the vellum pages glide on invisible currents, hover in the air, silent like birds of prey. Pani, too, watches, head cocked to the side. A wagging tail thumps at the floor. The cup of coffee on the desk must be cold by now, but a drink will do her good. Her right hand is still heavy and stiff, so she picks up the cup with her left. The first bitter sip is refreshing, but the second one makes her choke. She spits the coffee out on the encrusted wood, on her papers. Brown, watery splashes she should wipe right away, but instead she lets her tongue probe the inside of her mouth, the soft, ribbed folds of her palate. Like calf's brain, she thinks, her mother's favorite dish. She tries to put the cup back on the desk, but her hand refuses to obey, and it shatters on the floor. If she walks a bit, will the headache dissolve? Her first step is wobbly, unsure, making her clutch whatever is within her reach. The corner of her desk, the chair. Behind her, something falls down, something big and heavy. Her right knee is still sore. It's been like this ever since that dreadful fall 3 years ago, when she toppled down the stairs on her way to the banya. Zotov had heard the noise and rushed after her, made her sit on the marble step for a while. Only when she assured him the dizzy spell had passed did he help her stand up slowly. She didn't think she had been truly hurt, bruised and frightened as she was, but the knee is not letting her forget the fall. 9:01 a.m. Each step, unsteady as it is a marvel. The muscles contracting and releasing, the feet shuffling forward, one after another, like the mechanical doll her granddaughters loved to play with, before Constantine, her grandson, cut it open to see what was hidden inside. The steps take her out of her study, past the small alcove where her pelisses hang beside the silver-framed mirror, toward the door that leads to her privy. In the alcove mirror, her body is reflected as if in quivering water, broken into uneven, ill-fitting parts, each wrinkled and malformed. Her face fares no better. The sagging flesh, the neck that resembles a turkey's throat. Her eyes are bloodshot, watery, blinking. I've never been beautiful, she thinks. But what did Helen of Troy have to show for her looks? the ravages of war and the pursuits of...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?